Hello, everybody. So excited to be here for some plug in and power up and the reignition of Rising Consciousness show. So Gabriel and I, we've been talking about doing a show together for years. And finally we thought, let's just go for it. So we're going to do it. And we're blending a little bit of plug in and power up with Rising Consciousness. So sometimes you're going to see me, sometimes you're going to see Gabriel and I together, and sometimes you're going to see just him, which is super, super cool. So I'm so excited to be here with you. We are streaming in multiple locations. We are streaming on YouTube. We're streaming on Facebook, which is super, super cool. And I want to welcome you all. If you want me to see your name along with, who's here, you just have to click the link that's above that says, give StreamYard access to your profile. And then I can see that you're here with me. I'm so excited to have this conversation about what's up on planet Earth. I always do what's up on planet Earth in our private Facebook group called I Rise and Thrive. It's a free group, an incredible community, super soulful, super beautiful. So if you don't know about it, check out I Rise and Thrive on Facebook groups. It's incredible. It's awesome. And I'm so excited to stream through what's happening on the planet today. So for those of you, I think you all know me. My name is Tara Antler. I'm an intuitive healer and a soul coach. I've been doing this not work. I call it work, but it's not work. For over 18 years now, I've worked with over 10,000 clients, really help people move out the ick and the stick, the stuff that no longer serves them, really connect with the higher self, bring it in and bring it down and ground it so that we can create a life that feels really beautiful and awesome and free and abundant. So without further ado, how are you all? How are you? Let me know in the comments how you're doing. Let me know where you're streaming in from. And have you been feeling these waves of intensity? Woo, I call it the intensity of density. Oh my gosh, it's been huge. Even our kids have been feeling it, these incredible waves of energy, especially emotional energy that's been just like coming up out of the pits, and we've gone through this a number of times, in the course of life. But I really feel like over the last week, I've felt an increase in this density, an increase in the intensity of the density. And whenever that happens, I pay attention to it because whenever that happens, it means we're in a great purge, we're in a great unfoldment, we're in a great awakening all at the same time. Most emotional week ever, right? Exactly. I totally hear you. Our kids have been so emotional. Not so much Arya. She's been really, really grounded. But the boys, oh my gosh, they've been so sensitive and erratic and emotional and upset for no reason, emotional outbursts for no reason, and having a really hard time helping them cool that emotion. I've been feeling it a little bit external, but it's been more internal. I've been feeling this intensity. And even last night when I was sleeping, Chase has a very different energy than Cruz. So we have twin boys and they're two. And Cruz's energy, he always allows me to channel really big volumes of information. Always has since the time he was born. Channeler. Chase, on the other hand, he's soft and sensitive, very emotional, right? So he's been going through these big emotional outbursts. So has Cruz, but in a different way. And then last night, Cruz was helping me channel what was really going on the planet. And he was saying, we're really walking through it. Like if there was ever a time that we were walking through the fires of hell, like a pit, not that I believe in hell per se, but you know what I mean? If we were walking through a pit, if we were walking through an intensity of density, now would be the time. And it's kind of cool that it, lines up with Mercury Retrograde. So retrogrades, it's not that the planet's actually going backwards. It's just in the stars and in the alignment when they watch it, it looks like it's moving backwards or at a standstill. And when it does that, when energy does that, when it's at a standstill, it's a pause for us as humanity to pause within ourselves, to take stock, to take notice, to reflect, to go within and see what's still inside of us that maybe doesn't serve us and needs to heal or clear or shift or eradicate. And that's what we're doing right now. We are cleansing internally like you wouldn't believe. It's intense. And so I want to say, I hold compassion for all of you. That's the first thing. I hold compassion for all of you because doing this internal work is big and it can feel really intense and it can feel chaotic and erratic and it just doesn't make sense. It really is irrational. It doesn't make sense. So the first thing to do is really honor whatever you're feeling. Okay. Honor whatever you're feeling. Do your best not to judge it. When we judge things, we're throwing hooks in it. We're causing it to stick. We're causing it to hang out a little bit longer. I've always found that the fastest way for me to clear emotional density is to first acknowledge what I'm feeling, be very kind and gentle with myself, tend to myself. So whether that means staying in the shower a little longer and just letting the water, rinse off and setting that intention with this water, I rinse off everything that doesn't serve. Any heavy or intensity, I rinse it off. Or maybe it's about going into nature and allowing nature to hold you. Maybe it's going for some energy work or attending a meditation or doing something that you know is going to nurture you, right? And all of you are different in that way. You need to know what nurtures you. So let yourself be held right now. Let yourself be held in this beautiful energy and essence, because that exists too. Angels exist, guides exist, your higher self exists, your soul exists. All of that is there to support you through this journey too. And sometimes when this intensity comes, we get so caught in the intensity that we forget that, oh yeah, there's this energetic support that's here for me too. Let me just lean back into it. Let me rest in that energy and pause for a moment and take stock. So what is it within inside of myself? And what's interesting is, so the boys have been having these like rage outbursts, right? And I've shared this with my community. So it's it's no surprise. I too, when I was a child, had a lot of rage energy. I remember when I was 12, I wanted a punching bag for Christmas because I had so much of this intense anger and rage inside of me that came out of nowhere that I probably picked up on from ancestors. And it had to express through me. And that's what this energy is doing. You as a human vessel, you're a spiritual being in this human experience, you are an incredible transformer and transmuter of energy. And by allowing yourself to feel something, you are moving that energy. This is what Spirit told me years ago, about 10, 15 years ago when it came to healing. They said, you've learned a long process of healing. It doesn't have to be that hard. And I'm like, really? Oh my gosh, thank you for letting me in on the secret. I'm like, okay, so how does it work? And they said, just by you feeling it is you moving it. You're moving the energy. And when you anchor into light, so when you take a pause and you plug back in to higher vibrational energy, you're allowing yourself this space to vibrationally accelerate, expand, and connect to a greater field, which will take care of you and rinse through you. And then that density that you're moving through, that your body is burning up. Somebody asked this question in, I think it was our Thrive 365 group when we did Q&A on Thursday. And they said, what do you do? Or no, maybe it was Plug In Power Up yesterday. They were asking about fire. What's the significance of fire? And I said, well, fire is an amazing transformer. It transmutes energy from one form to another. It burns up the old and expresses the new. And that's what we're going through. That's what your body has the ability to do. And I've been feeling an intensity of heat for 24 hours, maybe a little bit longer than I'd say 36 hours. It started up the back of my head, kind of migraine-ish, and it's heat. And I can feel it. If I put my hand on the back of my head or my neck and here, I feel this intensity of heat. And so I pay attention to that because that's a burning up of old energy, a burning off of old energy. I don't want to stop that momentum. I want to let my consciousness, this body, do what it knows to naturally do and burn up the old, burn off the old. And no, it's not a fever. Okay. It's not a fever. My system's not fighting off anything, but I know I just want to preface that because some people's minds will go there. I can feel like a furnace, right? This furnace inside, and it's burning up the old. Okay. It's burning off the old. So the best approach I would say is to notice when you have those intense emotions and then go do something for yourself to nurture yourself, tend to yourself, care for yourself, and feel this higher energetic support all around you, holding you, embracing you, keeping you in this really beautiful container of light so that you can gracefully move through it. It's kind of like with the kids, right? You can't rationalize with kids. Now you need to calm down. They're going to be like, ah, right? Or you try to like get them to distract them. Sometimes that works. Most of the time you just have to hold them, extend a lot of love and wait it through. We're the same as adults. We're going through something right now. We're purging a lot. And with this Mercury retrograde, it's all about relationships. All about relationships right now, the relationship that we have with ourselves, the relationship that we have with other people. So just be aware of that because there might be old relationships that start resurfacing for healing and cleansing. There might be current relationships in your world that are asking for healing and cleansing. There might be people you haven't talked to in a while for whatever the reason is. There's no one to blame. And see, this is the thing about relationships that they're really dialing through strong right now. Humanity is very quick to blame and point the finger as if somebody is to blame. And what I really want you guys to do is to know that if you could take a step back from that and instead take responsibility, or just be like, maybe it's circumstantial, maybe it's vibrational alignment and misalignment, maybe there's something being reworked here. But I know that in myself, I'm not going to blame this person for any mishap. I'm really going to take responsibility and I'm going to hold steady. And I'm going to heal and I'm going to clear and I'm going to address the emotional triggers that are inside of me. And then I'm going to release and I'm going to elevate. And in that elevation, you then extend energy and light that flows naturally out to every relationship, including the one that you might be having some issues with. So I'm going to pause there. Let me know if this resonates. I'm going to read some of the comments. So great to have you guys here with me. If I don't say your name, it's because I can't see all the people that are here right now. I just see your little bubbles, but I can't see all the faces. But Christina's saying, thank you for Mercury retrograde explanation. Yeah, it does have a purpose. And because Mercury is all about communication, right? And then it depends on what house it sits in from an astrological perspective. So depending on what house, so you have your relationship house, you have your money house, you have your personal house, you have your health house, right? There's all different houses, formations in our experience. And what spirit has, and I haven't looked this up for sure, in terms of the astrological configuration. This is just what spirit's been telling me, is that there is a lot of cleanup happening in the relationship department. Communication, relationship. So where are we not showing up? Where has communication been misfired? Where is there blame? Can we retract that and heal that? Is it the relationship with self that we need to look at? Are we not tending to ourselves? And I had to look at that the last couple of days because I've been going full tilt and I wasn't taking the time that I needed for myself. Right? To meditate longer, to go out in nature and play and just rest. And of course, my body then it puts on the brakes, right? And then I start getting really edgy and I start getting overwhelmed. And then I start feeling kind of peeved, at the world. And I'm like, okay. I know that I need to pause for a second and just come back to self and nurture self and meditate and take longer showers and go sit in nature and put my feet on the ground, even if it's cold or whatever, right? To come back to self and nurture and honor self. And most of the time I find if I could even do that for 30 minutes, that's enough to like power up, right? Plug it and power up so that the next wave can come, right? So yeah, that's what this one, at least that's what they've been saying to me. Someone saying definitely, let me just put this up here that I can read it better. Came home from work every day this week, laid in a hot bath with coconut oil and lavender oil and let the tears come. That's exactly it. That's exactly it right now. We're letting these emotions come. And when you just let the emotions flow, like you have a good cry or you let the emotions, even if it's an anger outburst, right? It's about letting, and not at people or on people. See, this is the thing that we need a little bit more refinement on. When it comes to these emotions, we tend to, because of the blame factor, we're putting these emotions on other people. So we're firing them off at other people, or we're outlashing at other people or ourselves even. And if we could just retract from that for a moment and be a little bit more compassionate, loving with ourselves or with other people and be like, okay, let me tend to this emotion within myself first. Let me see what's there first. And then let me open up and have a conversation. You'll have, especially when it comes to other people, you will have a much more fluid and delicate and loving and compassionate conversation than this other thing that happens when it's about blame or you did this wrong. Because if anybody ever feels like they did something wrong, most of the time they're either going to fight back, right? They're going to fire back or they're going to retract. And nothing really gets done in that space, right? And I find I'm the type of person, most of the time I'll retract, right? I'll be like, I'm out, until this clears, I'm out, right? And so I find that if we could all do this, so we come from that place where have compassion with self, have compassion for the emotions that you're feeling, know that you are cleaning house, that you are having this, expanded experience of your emotions, and then it's all okay. It's an intensity of density, right? And we're cleaning up the relationship department, which is really cool. Let's see. Ooh, I like that. I'm going to use water to cleanse and to clean energies. It's really powerful. I love water for that. I've been feeling a heaviness and pressure in my neck. That's where I've been feeling it too. It's either someone wanting to visit me or a feeling or a feeling when I'm doing something I shouldn't be. Yeah. And I think right now too, we need to learn how to take the pressure off of ourselves, right? Whether that's emotional pressure, business pressure, work pressure, family pressure, financial pressure. Like there's a lot of pressure energy that's kind of moving in and around us where we're like, I should do this, or I should be doing that, and I should be this way, and I should be that way. And you guys know, you've heard it before, right? It's not a new saying when we should on ourselves, right? We're poo-pooing on ourselves. And when we poo-poo on ourselves, it's a lower vibrational energy and it doesn't allow us to thrive. It doesn't allow us to expand. So let's take that all off, right? Like that's what I was doing in my mind's eye because I was feeling it all here, right? Here today, it's here and it's a little bit back here. So I'm like, okay, let's just take the pressure off. Where am I putting pressure on myself? Pressure to show up, pressure to serve, pressure to be a good mom, pressure to be a great partner and wife, pressure to be a good friend, pressure to be a good daughter, pressure to be a good sister, pressure to, respond to every person that messages me. Take the pressure off, take the pressure off, take the pressure off, take the pressure off. Just literally imagine taking it off. right? And then if you go into that water energy, either like it was raining, we had a beautiful lightning and thunderstorm last night. It was incredible for like hours. It was beautiful to watch. And our power went out. Of course, the internet went out, and it was mysterious and beautiful. And I felt, when I was connecting, I love storms. So I stepped outside and I did a little connection, a little prayer. And I just said, I feel that there is some intensity happening right now. And I feel that this is a time for cleansing. So let it be cleansed, let it be so, and let it be done in the most gentle, easy way for the whole, right? Because there's a way for us to go through things very difficultly or easily. And it still comes with some challenge, but there is a way for it to be a little bit more graceful and gentle. And so set that intention, right? Someone was saying, just envisioned all the stress and sadness going down the drain. That's exactly it. Not a perfect solution, but it helps. It totally helps. I think anything like drainage, sewage, letting it go down the drain, the bathtub, anything like that, it helps. It literally moves that energy. Water likes to move, and you are 70% water. So when the emotions come, if it's sadness, the sadness wants to tear up and be released. If it's anger, it's like a volcano. It starts to do this and then it releases. And what I was aware of last night when Cruz was helping me channel and identify what this was, it was deep, deep, deep ancestral. This is what we're clearing. Deep, deep, deep ancestral patterns. So for some of you, it might be depression. Some of you, it might be anxiety, worry, fear, sadness, hopelessness, despair, stress, strain, overwhelm. For me, it was anger and rage. And I could see it generations back. And they said it's constructs. It's literally like these puzzle pieces that went into, your personal body. And all of that is being unplugged now. And so as it's being unplugged, it's got to come up and it's got to release. And as you are gentle with yourself, it can release easier than if we're fixated on it. We're like, oh my God, I have to hold on to that. Oh my God, what is this about? Oh my God, what's wrong with me? Oh my God, what's wrong with that person, right? If we could let go of that a little bit, there's an easier way for these emotions to just move on through without having the intensity, right? Someone else was saying, I hear you about rage. I was actually in anger management for years. I find the last week or so, I've been very hard on myself, flipping out, and then so many tears. And that's exactly it. And the tears usually come after you let go and the anger releases. It's usually tears that come. And the tears are kind of like the washing of the earth. It's the rain, right? After a big storm. Storms are raging. The winds last night, the lightning, it was crazy and it was wild. And it was raging and it was moving. And then after the winds kind of died down and then the rains came. And that's the tears. The tears come to wash the residual. So let the tears wash the residual. Let yourself be emotional. It's okay. The sooner you allow yourself to sit and be with those emotions, the sooner that they get to rinse and wash and clear. But if we try to hold them or control them or isolate them or fix them or make anybody else wrong, now we're going in a different direction, right? And they tend to stick a lot more from there. And yeah, rage is one of those things. Anger is one of those things. It's an emotion just like anything else. And it's a powerful emotion. It's a mover. It's a shaker and a mover. It can move us in new directions. And so we're shaking it off right now. We're shaking it off. And one of the other things that I wrote down that Spirit said was that we just have to face it now. That's the thing. We just have to face it and deal with it. We have to face it and deal with it. No more running from our emotions. No more hiding out from our emotions. I mean, unless you really feel called to hide out and whatever, but I would say the fastest way through is to face them. Deal with whatever's there. If there's a confrontational conversation that you need to have, if it's somebody that's reached out to you to say, hey, I'm not really happy about this. I know it doesn't feel good. We get triggered and we're like, oh my gosh, whatever. Let's just face it. Let's just move it. Let's just look at it. Let's just have a conversation and try to bring as much compassion from yourself as you can. Even if the other person gets fired up, still hold compassion. Be aware if your ego gets triggered and wants to fire back, because you can't really get too far when there's a fired up energy, right? Or find a different way to communicate, leave voice clips or something like that, back and forth, so that you have time to kind of whoo, right? And then communicate, and then whoo, and then communicate, right? Aquila, nice to see you, honey. Thank you. You're so welcome. Hugs to everyone going through these experiences. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Yes, Sarah. Okay, great. Thank you so much for letting me know. I appreciate that. So it's so great to connect with you all. Thank you for tuning in. Again, I'm sending you so much love, so much high vibrational energy. Know that you are moving through incredible volumes of emotional stuff that is most likely ancestral in nature, and it needs to come up. Okay, it needs to come up. And when there's these intensities of the density, the best thing to do is to honor yourself, tend to yourself, care for yourself, let go of judgment, Go deeper in compassion for yourself and for other people, because we're all moving through it. There's a batch of us that say, hey, this is what I'm moving through. And then there are those that are moving through it and not saying anything about it and trying their best to sort through this on their own in their own way. And they have no idea. They just are experiencing volumes of stuff. So we're all purging. And we're all going through it. So be gentle with yourself, be honoring with yourself, get out into nature, connect with like-minded community. If you don't know about I Rise and Thrive, I know I'm live there right now, but if you don't know about I Rise and Thrive and the other places where we're streaming, check out I Rise and Thrive, our Facebook group. It's free for everyone. It's a beautiful space to hang out. We go live there every day. And if you feel called to share this video, I think you can share it. I think you're able to share it. If you're able to share it, or tag someone. I love you all so much. Let me know if you have any more questions while you have me here live. And again, just know we're collectively doing this. We are collectively doing this. This isn't just 1 or 2 or 10 or 50 of us doing this. This is a collective experience. The collective is moving this intensity. And if we can feel into that, we'll feel these waves. And then you kind of go, whoa, we're all doing this. So how can I contribute to the waves of this emotional energy, lifting and clearing and moving and purging with the absolute ease and grace? Always ask for your healing to be easy and graceful, easy and graceful. Okay, because you set the tone, your state, your thoughts, your direction, you set the tone for how you want it to be. It can be hard or it can be easy, right? We asked this in our last Thrive in 5. We said, do you want it to be hard or you want it to be easy, right? I appreciate your kind words during this whirlwind. It really helps. Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I love you all so, so much. I hope you have a beautiful, beautiful day today. If you have any other questions, post them in the comments. I will answer them or I'll bring them into another episode. Can't wait to connect with you guys again soon. Have a sweet day. Bye.